Long before the walls of Troy crumbled and the legends of heroes were etched in stone, there was a pact forged in the shadows, one that would define the fate of the mightiest warrior in Greek mythology. Achilles was destined for glory, but also bound by a secret that could unravel everything. While gods whispered from the heights of Olympus and mortals cheered from the kingdoms below, one weakness remained hidden beneath the armor of a demigod. A mother's sacrifice, a god's bargain, and a warrior's innocence. This is where it all begins. Before we uncover the full story behind Achilles' rise and the secret pact that shaped his destiny, make sure to subscribe. Enter the world where gods play dice with mortals and heroes defy the heavens. Achilles' legend is one of glory, sacrifice, and hidden tragedy. What do you think? Was his fate sealed by the gods or by the choices of those who loved him most? Share your thoughts below and follow for the next chapter of this epic saga. The origin and the secret pact. Thetis, the sea goddess and daughter of the ancient sea god Nereus, harbored an unrelenting obsession within her heart to shield her only son Achilles from all the perils of the mortal world and the machinations of the divine. As a goddess, she understood the cruelty of fate, especially the harsh prophecies often handed down by the gods atop Mount Olympus. In the realm of the divine, humans, be they heroes or kings, were mere pawns in an endless game of power. Thetis refused to let Achilles, the son she cherished above all else, become a victim of such schemes. She dreamed of a grand destiny for him, a future where his name would be sung through the ages, surpassing all heroes in Greek mythology. Yet Thetis was acutely aware that, despite being the son of a goddess, Achilles bore the mortal blood of his father Peleus, king of Phthia. This made him vulnerable to death, to war, and to the wicked curses of the gods. Thetis could not accept this. She resolved that, to protect Achilles, she must make him immortal, or at the very least, nearly immortal. But her ambition extended beyond mere survival. She wanted him to become a symbol of strength, courage, and glory, a hero unmatched by any other. With this burning desire, Thetis embarked on a quest to seek aid from the gods, heedless of the risks she might face. Thetis knew that immersing Achilles in the River Styx, the river of invincibility in the underworld, could grant him imperviousness to harm. But she was uncertain whether this ritual alone would secure the grand destiny she envisioned for her son. The Styx, though powerful, was merely a physical tool. It could not protect Achilles from the deeper schemes of the gods, who were ever envious and resentful of anyone daring to challenge their authority. Thetis needed a more potent safeguard, a pact that could bind Achilles' fate to the protection of a mighty god. She decided to ascend Mount Olympus, the abode of the supreme gods, to plead for assistance. First, she sought out Zeus, king of the gods, whose power was unrivaled and who could grant any boon. But Zeus, with his wisdom and caution, refused to intervene. He knew that granting a human, even the son of a goddess, complete immortality would disrupt the balance between gods and mortals. Zeus addressed Thetis with a stern voice. "You wish your son to be immortal, but do you understand the cost of immortality? Even the gods cannot live without fate. If I grant Achilles this, he will become a threat to Olympus itself." Though disappointed, Thetis did not give up. She turned to Hera, queen of the gods. But Hera, who had always harbored jealousy toward beautiful goddesses like Thetis, rejected her outright. "You dared to humiliate me by refusing to marry Zeus, and now you ask for my help with your son? Let him face the fate of mortals!" Hera snapped, her eyes blazing with fury. Finally, Thetis approached Apollo, the god of prophecy, truth, light, and music. Apollo was not only one of the most powerful gods, but also renowned for his profound wisdom and ability to see into the future. Thetis knew that if anyone could help her protect Achilles and shape his destiny, it was Apollo. But she also understood that Apollo was not one to grant favors easily. He always prioritized the interests of the gods and often concealed his true intentions behind an enigmatic smile. Thetis entered Apollo's palace on Olympus, a place where radiant light emanated from golden walls and melodious strains echoed from his lyre. Apollo sat upon his throne, his golden eyes piercing through Thetis's mind before she could even speak. "Thetis, goddess of the sea," Apollo began, his voice both gentle and sharp like the rays of the sun. "I know why you have come. You seek my aid for your son, Achilles, do you not? But are you aware that what you ask will alter the course of fate?" Thetis knelt before him, her voice trembling yet resolute. "Lord Apollo, I know that the power of the River Styx can make Achilles immortal, but I desire more than that. I wish for my son to become the greatest hero, one not only invincible in war but celebrated through all time. I beseech you to grant him near absolute strength so that no weapon of man or scheme of God can harm him." Apollo fell silent for a moment, his fingers lightly strumming the strings of his lyre, producing notes that rose and fell as if in contemplation. He understood that Thetis's request was not merely a plea, but a challenge to the authority of the gods. If Achilles were truly to become utterly immortal, he might transcend the boundary between human and divine, something Zeus and the other gods would never permit. Yet Apollo saw an opportunity in this request, a chance to reinforce his own power and ensure that Achilles' fate remained under his control. At length, Apollo smiled, but his smile did not bring comfort. Rather, it sent a chill down Thetis's spine. "I will help you, Thetis," he said, "but all power comes at a price. I will grant Achilles near absolute strength, making him a warrior impervious to harm, save for one small part of his body, his heel. That part will remain vulnerable, a reminder that his fate does not entirely belong to him but lies in the hands of the gods, particularly mine." Thetis recoiled at this condition. She had not expected Apollo to demand such a specific weakness. "But my lord," she protested, "if Achilles bears a weakness, his enemies will seek to exploit it. How can I protect my son?" Apollo laughed, his laughter resounding like sunlight breaking through clouds. "You need not worry, Thetis. This weakness will remain a secret between you and me. Only I, as the god of prophecy, will know how to exploit it. And I vow to protect Achilles, so long as you remain loyal to me and reveal this pact to no one, not even your son." Thetis hesitated. She knew this pact could be a double-edged sword. If she agreed, Achilles would become the hero she dreamed of, but at the cost of carrying a weakness she could not control. Moreover, she would be beholden to Apollo, a god notorious for his cunning and unpredictable schemes, but her desire to protect her son outweighed her fears. At last, Thetis nodded. "I agree, Lord Apollo. Please keep your promise and protect my son." Apollo inclined his head, his eyes flashing with a mysterious glint. "Then prepare for the ritual, Thetis. But remember, this secret must remain hidden. If you reveal this pact to anyone, even Achilles, I will no longer be bound to protect him." The ritual at the River Styx. After leaving Olympus, Thetis returned to her father's palace beneath the sea, the domain of Nereus, to prepare for the ritual. She knew the River Styx lay in the underworld, a realm accessible only to the souls of the dead and the gods. As a goddess, Thetis had the right to enter the underworld, but she also understood that this was no simple task. The Styx was not merely a river. It was the embodiment of unbreakable oaths, a place where even the gods were subject to its harsh laws. If she made a mistake during the ritual, the consequences could be unimaginable. Thetis carried Achilles, then just an infant, to the underworld. She passed through the gates of darkness, where Cerberus, the three-headed hound guarding the underworld, growled menacingly. But with the power of a goddess, Thetis easily pacified the beast and ventured deeper inside. Upon reaching the banks of the Styx, she felt the icy chill radiating from the pitch-black waters. The river did not reflect light. It seemed to devour everything, even hope. Yet Thetis remained undeterred. She knew this was her only chance to protect her son. She carefully grasped Achilles by his heel, exactly as Apollo had instructed. This was the one part of his body that must not touch the water to preserve the weakness Apollo demanded. With one hand holding Achilles, she raised a divine torch with the other, its light pushing back the darkness of the underworld. Thetis began to chant an incantation, ancient prayers she had learned from her father Nereus. "O River Styx, embodiment of the unbreakable oath, grant my son the strength of invincibility. Make his body as steel, impervious to any weapon of man or god save for the part I hold." As the prayer concluded, Thetis slowly lowered Achilles into the frigid waters. The river clung to his body, seeping into every fiber, transforming the infant's skin into an impenetrable shield. Thetis felt the divine power surging through her son, and her heart swelled with pride. But she could not help but feel a pang of anxiety as she looked down at the small heel she held tightly. That patch of skin remained soft, vulnerable, like that of any mortal child. It was the mark of the pact, a reminder that no matter how powerful Achilles became, he could not escape Apollo's control. When the ritual was complete, Thetis left the underworld, carrying Achilles back to the mortal world. She gazed at her son sleeping peacefully in her arms, his eyes closed as if unaware of what had just transpired. Thetis whispered, "My son, you will become the greatest hero, and I will do everything to protect you, even if it means facing the gods themselves." The early years of Achilles. Achilles grew up under the care of Thetis and his father, King Peleus, in the palace of Phthia. As the son of a goddess, he soon displayed signs of extraordinary strength. Even as a young child, Achilles could lift boulders that grown men could not budge. He ran as swift as the wind, shot arrows with the precision of a seasoned hunter, and no injury could draw his blood. Those around him, from warriors to common folk, marveled at the boy's prowess, and Achilles' fame began to spread far and wide, though he had yet to set foot on a battlefield. Thetis, in her role as a mother, closely monitored every step of Achilles' development. She taught him his first lessons in combat, regaled him with tales of great heroes like Heracles and Theseus, but she never revealed the truth about his heel. Thetis wanted Achilles to grow up believing he was utterly invincible, for she knew that such confidence would nurture courage and resilience within him. But each time she glimpsed his small, vulnerable heel, her heart tightened. She wondered if her decision had been the right one, if the pact with Apollo would truly protect Achilles or merely thrust him into greater danger. Meanwhile, Apollo, from his perch on Olympus, silently observed Achilles. With his ability to see into the future, he knew that Achilles' fate would lead him to the war at Troy, where the secret pact would be revealed. Apollo did not merely view Achilles as a pawn in the gods' game. He saw him as an experiment, a means to prove that even the greatest heroes could not escape divine control. Yet he also felt a flicker of curiosity about Achilles, wondering if he might surpass the destiny Apollo had foreseen. The first signs of destiny. As Achilles entered his teenage years, prophecies about the war at Troy began to circulate. Seers across Greece spoke of a great conflict where heroes would gather to win glory or face death. Thetis, as a goddess, also received warnings from her Nereid sisters. They told her that Achilles would face a cruel choice, a short but glorious life, or a long but unremarkable one. Though Thetis knew this, she could not accept that her son would die young. She believed that the strength Apollo had granted would allow Achilles to survive the war, as long as the weakness in his heel remained undiscovered. But Thetis did not know that, deep within Apollo's mind, he had his own plans. As the god of prophecy, Apollo did not merely protect Achilles. He prepared for the day he would intervene directly in his fate, the day when Paris's arrow, guided by Apollo's own hand, would target Achilles' heel. To Apollo, the pact with Thetis was not just a promise, but a means to reinforce his power and prove that no one, not even the mightiest hero, could escape the control of the gods. Achilles, unaware of the secret pact or the weakness in his heel, continued to grow in glory and strength. He became the pride of Phthia, a young warrior noticed by both mortals and gods. But in the distance, the shadow of destiny crept closer, bringing with it challenges that no one, not even Thetis or Apollo, could fully foresee. Achilles' heel, the mark of the secret pact, would soon become the centerpiece of a tragic and heroic tale where courage, compassion, and human frailty intertwined to forge an immortal legend.